before we move on, I want to save a few things just so we have it for the future in case we need it. I'm going to go to my merged example. However, this one is not merged. These are down here. In case I ever do want to create a character that has morph targets or the eyes move, I'm going to go ahead and save that tool. This is called before merge. All subtools. Okay. Now the other thing I want to do, I want to go back into my, if I'm not mistaken, my example man has the high res, and we can save our high res mesh out as well if we wanted to, but I'm not going to do that either. So what I'm going to do for now, because I've already got this saved in a file format as well, I'm going to delete this. It is an undoable process, and then I'm going to go rename the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to my subdivision levels. Now I need to bring this all the way down before I do my UVs. Keep in mind that particular platform that you're going to be using this for, if it's going to be an Xbox game, obviously you want to have a little bit higher resolution because it allows a lot more. I'm probably going to stick with this and then delete the lower resolution. There's no need to have it that low, considering that you want to have as much movement as possible, especially if we're going to add a motion capture to it utilizing the Human IK and Maya. But if you do have a lower resolution platform, you need something like this, then you always have it, especially in the file format saved. We're going to go ahead and delete this, leave it at the subdivision level 1. We're going to go down to open up our UV map. Now, because we don't have any limitations given to us by like an art director, we're going to go ahead and use a 2048 UV map. And you can use any of these. Obviously, you don't want to use spherical, cylindrical. Those are for, you know, particular objects that fit that frame. We are going to use the UV tile since it's simple and gets to the point. We could, of course, use the group UVs, which we would have used had we needed morph targets for the head, and we had the eyes, and we had that belt earlier. So, but we're not going to use the belt. We are going to use the the group UVs. We are going to use just a regular UV tile and create that. Now we have it. We can go down and we can actually apply a map to it if you wanted to, or hold on, I'm sorry. You can apply a texture to it in here by clicking here, grabbing the texture, put it on there, make sure that this looks good with maybe a checkerboard, however you want to check the UVs. But more or less, it seems to be fine. I'll use this one for instance. And we'll go into our UV master. We're going to create a clone because we don't want to work on this one here. Work on clone, and then we're going to go into our unwrap so that now we can work on it. And we're going to flatten, and this is what our UVs look like as it is now. And this is of course in the top right quadrant. That's how games work. So just so you know, it is pretty large, so we should have a lot of resolution, especially in the face since it's much smaller up in this area. Partly why we did that. Moving on though, we want to unflatten and start painting where our seams need to be. Now they're in the back, that's good to know. I don't think it really needs to be changed. I think we're going to probably stick with this one since the front looks good, everything looks good here, and move on into maybe some poly painting. I'll probably paint like something like an X in the front, kind of show you, basic concept of painting in ZBrush. It can go much further, obviously. We're utilizing the poly paint and colorize options, but we're trying to basically transfer a number of maps over into Maya, and having a number of them to transfer will help us understand that transfer protocol. We're moving on into the next tutorial to finish up the UV mapping.